Elishibah Msengeti, Songs of Praise, Elishibah Msengeti.
Welcome, Elishibah.
Every so often, we go through incidents in life that make us question the verity of a belief or idea we had. These incidents are important because they force us to interrogate our view of others, of life, and of ourselves. There have been many such moments in my life, but I choose one in particular that changed my perception of myself. This happened 6 years ago. My husband and I were managing a children's home in Londiani, Kericho County, a responsibility that we took up after the demise of my mother-in-law, who had been the director and founder of the children's home. One afternoon, the teachers from the adjacent school came to visit us at the home. After a nice meal with everyone, the teachers started speaking to the children, giving them motivation to work hard in school, encouraging them to never give up despite the circumstances in life, and to have limitless ambition. Once the teachers were done speaking, the headmaster stood up to close the session. And he asked the students, asked the children, whom would they like to emulate when they grew up? The children mentioned their teachers, the headmaster and his deputy, the pastor, my husband, and a myriad other people. The headmaster kept saying, wonderful. Who else? Okay, great. Anybody else? I saw what he was trying to do. He was hoping that one of the children would mention that they wanted to be like Elishibah, but none of them did. I, the new director of Bethel Home and School, mother of 70 children, plus 2 of my own at the age of 29, was not mentioned by a single child as a role model. As you can imagine, this incident had deep-cutting effects. I graciously thanked our guests as the session came to an end and whispered to the headmaster on the side that I appreciated what he was trying to do. When I went back to our house, I broke down and cried. I cried because, you see, all my life, I had been a role model, the firstborn, head girl in primary school, deputy head girl in high school, obedient daughter, the child that people tell others to be like, a good Christian, a leader, a star. So this was very new territory to me. It dawned on me in that moment that I had not only come to enjoy praise, I had actually come to expect it. I had assumed that I would always stand out as exemplary. Later, when my husband came home from work, I told him about the incident, and he suggested that it was because the children saw me as a mom and not as a career to grow up towards. Well, I thought, even if they saw me just as a mom, then at the very least, they should admire my mothering skills. In any case, children are children, and their ways are not our ways. Because you see, in as much as I had resigned from my job at the start of that year to come to Londiani, to come to run the children's home, this seemed to not count for anything. I had hoped that the children would see me as an embodiment of leadership, discipline, sacrifice, and every good virtue. I felt that that day's incident was an assessment not of us as directors, but of myself as an individual and my character. Was I too strict or overbearing Or was I not hands-on enough? I wondered. My mother-in-law had been outstandingly magnanimous, and her shoes were very big for me to fill. But surely was I failing so badly? I eventually made peace with this incident through self-reflection. Upon looking keenly, I realized that inasmuch as I had done everything out of a genuine desire to help, the fact that this did not earn me acknowledgement from the children made me doubt my own reasons. And then I thought back to all the times when I had been praised and realized that somebody had not been acknowledged and that they probably were left wondering about their worth. And I realized that the measure of our worth should not be tied to praise. There's danger in that kind of vanity. Unfortunately, in our generation, the allure of praise, accolades, and recognition has almost taken away the intrinsic value of just doing good. I decided from that day onwards to be careful that every time my name was mentioned, that I would always acknowledge others too, even if privately, and not to dwell so much on praise to define my worth. Fellow Toastmasters, if nobody in your social, professional, or other circles praises you or acknowledges you, your efforts, or your very being, would you still do good? Would your heart be able to cope with the disappointment of being incognito, or would you be totally crushed? Is our altruism above and beyond praise? I sure hope so. I think we have to keep doing our best, living, loving, and giving, no matter the praise or lack thereof. I know that I certainly intend to continue doing so. Mr. Toastmaster.